Hello, Chelsea Miller here with a book talk on Charlotte's Web by E.B. White. I had never read the book before this time. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a great book to use in an elementary classroom. And if you haven't read it yet and you're an adult, then now's a good time. I'm going to talk about some of the characters and a theme that I saw throughout the book. But as I was researching for this, I got into reading about E.B. White, and he says that this book he purely wrote for his own enjoyment, which I think that automatically makes the book a little bit more interesting just because he wasn't planning on all these people reading it or getting the Newbery Honor or a movie written after it. I don't think he was planning any of that. He was just writing. He's like, oh, I want to write a story about a farm with some animals on the farm and give them a personality and see where the story goes. And I think he did a great job if you're thinking from that aspect. So the first character that I want to talk about is Fern. It's the very first character you're introduced in the story. She is this fun, spunky girl that deserves to be the first person in the book. I really like her in the beginning. She's got this strong personality. She knows what's right and she wants to stick up for what's right. I have a quote here, a little passage from the book that I love from Fern. She said, "But it's unfair," cried Fern. "The pig couldn't help being born small, could it? If I had been very small when I was born, would you have killed me?" Mr. Arable smiled, her father. "Certainly not," he said, looking down at his daughter with love. "But this is different. A little girl is one thing, a little runty pig is another." "I see no difference," replied Fern, still hanging on the axe. "This is the most terrible case of injustice I ever heard of." I love that part of Fern. I think it's a great way to open up the book. You show this girl, she's a little bit on the stubborn side, she's going up against her father. She's up against her father, saying, "You're not allowed to kill this pig because I don't agree with you doing that." So they make this deal that the pig can live, but she has to take care of it. So from that point on, she acts as if Wilbur's mother. I love the illustrations they have in the book. Here's one of Fern feeding with a bottle of Wilbur. It's so precious, and in this beginning you love the relationship. You can't not love that relationship of this little elementary student girl raising a little piglet, and they have this great friendship. And here's one, she's pushing around in a stroller with another doll. It really shows you that she loves this and she's a motherly example to Wilbur. As the story goes on, Wilbur gets sent off to a different farm. It ends up being her uncle, Mr. Zuckerman, and which is fine because she can go there and visit. But with something down the road, I think the story is very realistic because she's not able to go there every single day and visit with Wilbur. She does in the summer. She's pretty consistent about being there, but when it's during school time, she only comes every once in a while, and you can see how much that hurts Wilbur. But as this story goes on, she kind of grows up in the story and she matures, and she's not able to be there for Wilbur anymore. And in fact, she kind of leaves him. They go to the state fair, and she's not really congratulating him or excited that he's winning this ribbon. She's off with a boy. And so you kind of see her progress in the story, which I think it's realistic, but I kind of wish that E.B. White would have stuck with her being more friendship and a better friend in the end to Wilbur. So with that said, I want to talk about Wilbur, our star of the book. He's the only character that's there from beginning to end. He's got this great. I think he's a great character, but really he's not my favorite. I kind of got annoyed with him throughout the book because he's so naive and he's just so like, he doesn't understand what's going on. He doesn't understand the world. He doesn't think about anyone else really. Until the end, he does have one part where he gives everything, does everything he can for Charlotte. But up until that point, there's nothing really to him. And I wish that E.B. White would have done more maturing part for Wilbur. I wish that he would have matured more quickly, maybe, because it takes him literally the whole book for Wilbur to realize, like, oh, I need to I know the world and I know what needs to be, what my purpose is. But it takes the whole book to do that. It's after Charlotte dies. Spoiler alert, I'm pretty sure you knew that though, but Charlotte does die. But it's when he's talking about the generations and generations of Charlotte that he's like, spiders, and he's wishing he still had Charlotte. And that's the first time you really see him mature. But up until that, he's just he acts like a little kid. You don't really know what he's going to say. You don't know what he's thinking. He's just there. He's just part of the book. But he does have a good relationship with Fern. He loves Fern and he loves Charlotte. But other than that, he just doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't understand anything. So I like Wilbur because he is the star of the book, but then again, I wish there was more to him. I wish he had more of a personality and more to give to the people around him, or the animals, I guess. The next person is Charlotte. Charlotte's Web. The story is really about Charlotte. She's a great character, and I really like her. She's probably my favorite in the book. This is how E.B. White has her come out in the book, which is, it's so clever, and I love it. This is what she says. This is Wilbur's feeling all alone. He's all lonely in the barn. Poor little Wilbur. He's feeling sorry for himself, and he just wants a friend because everyone else is gone. Salutations, said the voice. Wilbur jumped to his feet. What? He cried. Salutations, repeated the voice. What are they, and where are you? Screamed Wilbur. Please, please, tell me where you are, and what are salutations? Salutations are greetings, said the voice. When I say salutations, it's just my fancy way of saying hello or good morning. I love that. When I was reading, I was like, wait, what's going on? I don't understand it. At first, I was like, salutations. I didn't even know what salutations was. I don't use that. I don't think anyone does. But it defines her so perfectly. She's clean, she's crisp, she's classy, but she's a spider too, which is crazy because I don't like spiders, but I love Charlotte. I think she's such a good character in the book. I think E.B. White uses her so well in the book. So she is the reason that Wilbur stays alive. Wilbur finds out that he's going to be Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas dinner. So he's freaking out, and Charlotte says, no matter what, I promise we'll save you from this. I will make sure that you do not die or get killed. So she's very clever. She's got it all under control. She thinks for a while, but she is very clever, and I love that. She's a smart little spider. So she writes words in her web about Wilbur. So first she writes some pig, and Mr. Zuckerman freaks out. He gets everyone over to look at it, and pretty soon the whole town is there to watch. Then after that, they end up going to fair, and she writes terrific in the web, and people love it. I think if I saw a spider web that said terrific, that'd be pretty dang cool. I think I would like to go see that. I'd go to State Fair to see that. So Charlotte's just got this great personality. And I think that Charlotte really knows who Wilbur is. She sees him as this little innocent child, but she sees his potential too. She sees that he is so kind-hearted and that someday he can be something, that he was worth saving. She sees his worth. So I think that's just a really good thing to touch on. The last character that I want to talk about that I think is important in this book is Templeton. Duh, the nasty little rat in the barn. At first, I hated Templeton. I really did not care for his personality. He was just this selfish, grimy little rat. And I think it's a great personality for a rat. You know, the rats don't care about anyone else. They just care about themselves. And so I think E.B. White did this great job of having Templeton with this nasty personality. And like I said, at first I really hated it. But then it became comical. I was like, okay, when's Templeton going to come in and say something stupid or something mean? And sure enough, he's just so mean in the book. But as it went on, I think that after I thought about it, I think that the book needed Templeton. It needed that character to offset the motherly, loving friendship that Wilbur and Charlotte have and Wilbur and Fern have. You really need a character that brings in some humor and some disgust into the book. And I think that's what E.B. White put him in there purposefully for that. I think it's just like the exact thing the book needed, and that's what E.B. White did. And so I think it works out perfectly. I really like the way that Templeton's in there. So that's for the characters, but now for the common theme that I saw throughout the book. The one that I want to focus on is friendship. This is the one that I focused on for my analysis paper and my annotated bibliography. But when I was writing both of those, I don't think that I was really thinking enough about Charlotte's Web. And now that I know that E.B. White was doing this just as a hobby, just as for something fun, I think that I'm not able to judge Wilbur's friendship. I don't know who am I to judge his friendship. If this is how E.B. White portrayed it, he did it purposefully. He wants Wilbur to be this innocent pig that needs guidance. He needs Fern in the beginning, and he needs Charlotte. But in the very end of the book, he is independent, and he does, he's more knowledgeable of what is around him and who he is. So I think that actually E.B. White is brilliant. That is what a friendship is. A friendship makes you grow. And even though Wilbur didn't give much back in the relationships, like that's why it made me so frustrated, because it was I thought a friendship has to be two people giving equally as much and working for the same goal. But really, that's not what it's at all. It's just someone that's in your life to make you better. And that's exactly what E.B. White did. So I kind of want to take back my analysis paper and take back my annotated bibliography, because I appreciate what E.B. White has done here. So I guess that's that. That's my book talk for E.B. White, Charlotte's Web.